Rafael Nadal finally got the better of a crazy, long tiebreaker and knew he'd won half the battle. After saving 4 set points and missing with the first 6 of his own, Nadal finally clinched a tiebreaker that lasted 28 minutes and 40 seconds to set himself on course to secure a spot in the Australian Open quarterfinals for a 14th time. After his 7-6, 14, 6-2, 6-2 fourth-round victory over fellow left-hander Adrian Manarino on Sunday, Nadal is potentially just 3 wins away from a men's record 21st Grand Slam singles title. He later reflected on a tiebreaker where momentum swung wildly, where chants of "Let's go Rafa, let's go" rang out, where a point was decided on a 25-shot rally with both players scrambling at full stretch, and that ended only when Nadal volleyed from deep in the court and Manarino's reflex reply skewed wide. "Well, you know, I played a couple," he said, smiling, in reference to long tiebreakers. "But, yeah, it was a crazy one, chances for both. And, yeah, lucky to win that tiebreak at the end, no? Half of the match in the tiebreak, without a doubt." Nadal will next play Denis Shapovalov, the 22-year-old Canadian who finished off a 6-3, 7-6, 5, 6-3 win over Olympic gold medalist Alexander Zverev on Margaret Court Arena less than an hour later to reach the last 8 in Australia for the first time. Shapovalov had to isolate after testing positive for COVID-19 when he arrived in Australia ahead of the year's first major, but recovered quickly to help Canada win the ATP Cup in Sydney and now reach a Grand Slam quarterfinal for the 3rd time. Women's number 1 Ash Barty advanced to the quarterfinals for the 4th straight year when she beat 20-year-old American Amanda Anisimova 6-4, 6-3. Barty is aiming to be the first Australian woman to win her home Grand Slam title since 1978 and has gone through the first 4 rounds without dropping a set. Anisimova, coming off a 3rd-round upset over defending champion Naomi Osaka, broke Barty's opening service game of the 2nd set, a first for the tournament, but the 2-time major winner responded by taking 6 of the last 7 games. Barty beat Anisimova in the semi-finals of the French Open in 2019 on the way to winning her first Grand Slam title and won her 2nd at Wimbledon last year. She'll next play number 21-seeded Jessica Pegula, who beat 5th-seeded Maria Sakkari 7-6, 0, 6-3. French Open champion Barbara Krejcikova breezed to a 6-2, 6-2 win over 2-time Australian Open champion Victoria Azarenka and is into the last 8 for the 3rd time in 4 Grand Slam events. Wimbledon runner-up Matteo Berrettini completed a Grand Slam set with a 7-5, 7-6, 4, 6-4 win over 19th-seeded Pablo Carreño Busta in the last match on day 7. The 7th-seeded Berrettini has now reached the quarterfinals at all 4 of the tennis majors and will next play number 17 Gael Monfils, who beat Miomir Kecmanovic 7-5, 7-6, 4, 6-3. The 35-year-old Monfils made it to the last 8 for the 2nd time in 17 trips to Melbourne Park. Nadal, in his 17th campaign in Australia, is now tied with John Newcombe in 2nd spot on the all-time list for most Australian Open quarterfinals, one behind Roger Federer's 15. It's also the 35-year-old Spaniard's 45th time into the last 8 at a Grand Slam tournament, which is 3rd on the all-time list behind Federer, 58, and Novak Djokovic, 51. He shares the men's record of 20 major titles with Federer and Djokovic. But he's the only one of the trio playing in this tournament. 9-time Australian Open champion Djokovic was deported on the eve of the tournament because he didn't meet Australia's strict COVID-19 vaccination rules. Federer is recovering from injury. Manarino, who didn't finish his 4-hour, 38-minute 4-set, 3rd-round win over number 18 Aslan Karatsev until after 2 a.m. on Saturday and appeared to be hampered by an abdominal or upper leg injury, threw everything at Nadal in the opening set on Rod Laver Arena, where temperatures approached 33 Celsius, 91 F. "After first set I couldn't really fight against Rafa," said the 33-year-old number 69 ranked Manarino. "You know, He was playing too well for me not to be 100%. The second and third set just went all the way for Rafa, so that's it. The first set lasted 85 minutes, including the breaker, but after getting early breaks in the second and third sets the match was over in 2 hours, 40 minutes. I'm very happy I survived that first set, without a doubt, said the sixth-seeded Nadal, who saved one of the only 2 breakpoint chances he faced, and converted 5 of 17. That crazy first set was so important. The number 14-seeded Shapovalov spent almost 11 hours on court through the first 3 rounds, winning twice in 4 sets and once in 5, and was surprised by the relative speed of his 2-hour, 21-minute win over Zverev. Definitely happy with where the game is at, he said. I played pretty smart today. Shapovalov reached the US Open quarterfinals in 2020 and was a semi-finalist at Wimbledon last year, his career best run to date at a major. He'll have to step it up against one of the greatest in the game. It's always an honor to go up against a guy like Rafa, Shapovalov said. It's always fun. Always going to be a battle against him.